So we're starting by laughing. We just had a chuckle before we came on air, didn't we? On air. That sounds pretty good, doesn't it? Yeah, we won't tell you what though, because it's a bit embarrassing. But welcome to Me Time with Ruby. Got that wrong already. That's a good start, isn't it? And I'm on the sofa with Charlotte, and I'm well impressed. How coordinated are you with our sofa this week?
No, I did it on purpose, obviously.
This is fantastic.
I love this jumpsuit though.
It's beautiful. New in, and we've got them in green and lilac too. So, and lilac's really in yellow. Well, there's me telling you.
Lilac, but do you know what? Lilac's been a favourite of mine for so long, but you could never find it in the shops. And I had one dress that a friend had given me, but it was like a proper kind of dressy uppy dress, so I couldn't wear it that often. I loved it so much, so I'm so excited to see actual lilac coming in.
So you chose the pink instead of the lilac?
Well, I didn't see the lilac, I just grabbed this one, but actually, isn't it just the loveliest colour?
It's really,
I
and
love
you
the
said it's
mix.
really comfy.
So comfy, yeah.
Really
And what's interesting is the sizing, because it says extra large, so I guess it kind of, is it like a one
maybe
size?
Maybe you just picked up the extra large.
But you wouldn't.
You probably have put on a couple of ounces last week.
Last week, yeah. I thought maybe it was just like a kind of one size sort of
No,
jogging.
I think it comes in small, medium, and large, extra large. But they're really nice,
Yeah,
aren't they?
love it.
Yeah, they came in this week. We have got so much new stock. Basically, we've been manic and really busy, which is really, really good.
Really nice.
It's really lovely, especially supporting local business. Really good farm, they're brilliant. So we're literally getting new stock in every other day at the moment.
Well, I came in just now, didn't I? I was like, oh.
And I've got a box. I'm looking over there because I've got a couple of boxes of stuff over there to be
wanna go and
steamed
play.
and fry stuff and
Play in
stuff.
the box.
So I noticed you grabbed some stuff from because I'm doing a Facebook Live and you grabbed the stuff.
Was that your
That's
Facebook
right,
Live?
As long as you put it back, I'll let you off.
Sorry.
So you had a good week?
Yeah, I did. It's been so warm,
That's
isn't it?
lovely.
It's almost too much on some days, and the night times are really tough because we're up in a sort of converted roof bit.
Right.
So it's a little bit unbearable at night, but in the daytime it is nice to see the sun.
It is nice, and I think I mentioned on one of the videos earlier this week actually, it just seems to make everybody happy. Bit grouchy by the end of the day.
Well, you know what?
As you found out when I said, just give me 5 minutes and don't talk to
Don't
me
talk
when you
to me.
came in.
I think sort of, being pregnant right now would be really tough in this heat.
No, I'm not pregnant.
No, and I'm not, thankfully, because I'll tell you what, I was really heavily pregnant in December, and that will not December just gone, but during December, and it was unbearably hot just in December, so I can't even imagine being that pregnant in like this kind of temperature. I do feel for those gals.
I had a lady in today trying stuff on in the heat, and I realised when she came out with the dress on that she was very heavily pregnant, and I said, you look like you're about to have it. She said 4 weeks, little girl, 4 weeks, so she's going to come back and show us the little girl.
Yes,
It's really exciting. Right, so I was really intrigued by this one actually, really excited, because actually just that philosophy, very basic, what you say right at the beginning, just makes total sense about the weight, stuff and the shape. So I'll hand over to you to give our guests and customers and viewers some informative information.
Yeah, I do think this one's really key. I think a lot of people think about their size rather than their shape, and that's very normal because we don't go in and say I'm a shaped rectangle. We say I'm a size 12. It's not something that necessarily we know about. But actually, once we know it, it's so much easier to dress yourself because you suddenly have sort of key things to kind of hit, and you go, right, well, I know that's got that, so that'll be fine for me. That's got that, I shouldn't buy that. And it's not that you can't then buy those other things. It's just that if you do kind of struggle to think, oh, what should I wear, or what suits me, it's just really nice, isn't it?
Do you think that's why people do struggle? I'm asking you. I suppose what I want to say is my experience in the shop perhaps is that people do struggle with what to wear, but a lot of that is because perhaps they don't really realise it's about their shape as opposed to necessarily their weight. And I'm always having discussions in here. It reminded me the other day actually, me sort of talking to a lady saying, you because she was saying she didn't like having what she considered big breasts. And I said, I'd love to have bigger breasts. We always want what we haven't got, blah, blah. I think we've had this conversation before. But I just think that sometimes if we know what shape we are and we know what works for us, I know I've got big hips.
You can enhance things, can't you? If you want bigger boobs, you suddenly know, I can.
Yeah. Well, when I said to her I've got you know,
I don't mean
haven't
with
got
implants,
anything.
just to clarify. I mean with a top or something.
But yeah, when she said, when I said, oh, I haven't got much on top, she went, no, you haven't, have you? I don't think she realised what she was saying, but I loved it. I thought, oh, that's just great.
No
That was great.
filter.
Yeah, really authentic conversation here.
Yeah.
But yeah, I say quite often to customers, we always want what we haven't got. You know, and customers come in and they're either top heavy and
Yes.
you know, so I think that's what you're going
Well,
to.
that's it, and I mean that's kind of the focus of it, is that actually no matter what size you are, and I've sort of said 8 to 18, 6 to 26, it doesn't matter, you're going to always have a shape. And I think I was saying this last week, you have a shape.
So that's genetic more than anything,
It
isn't
is. Yeah. And so what they've done, what the clever people who do sort of styling and things like that have done, is created a set of shapes that people generally will fall into. Some people might be a little bit of one and a little bit of another, but generally speaking will always fall into one of these categories, more so than others. So the first one I talk about is the triangle, which is kind of smaller on top, so smaller breasts, smaller waist, but then bigger bum and bigger hips.
Did you say?
Yeah, well, I mean, see, you're saying you haven't got any boobs, but I think you're more hourglassy. But I mean, I don't know. I've not seen you, obviously, without clothes on. So, Dave, what do you think? But yeah, I mean, when you think of that, you kind of do think of people with very slim shoulders, whereas actually you have quite a nice sort of hip to shoulder ratio. I would say. I would definitely put you more in the hourglass.
Okay.
But yeah, generally the triangle is that very slim at the top and then kind of going out.
So it doesn't matter to me. I mean, I have been a size 18 and I have been a size 8 to 10. And it doesn't matter what weight I am as such, I am still that shape.
Yes.
Which is what you're saying.
Exactly.
So I still know that if I'm going to get put on weight, this is going to put on weight with this, so I'm just going to be bigger but the same shape.
Yeah, so then all you have to do is go, well, I like that dress, and actually before lockdown I would have got it in a size 10, now I'll get it in a size 14, or whatever. You know,
That's exactly right, actually.
Oh, well, yeah, that's it. You just go up the size and you don't have to worry about changing your entire wardrobe and suddenly go, oh my gosh, I don't know how to dress this body. You do, because you've been dressing it your whole life. I mean, roughly speaking, you know what suits you and you can keep going to it. But just in case people don't know how to enhance their shape, we're going to kind of go into that. So yeah, so with the triangle, it's about bringing a bit more to the top to balance out the bottom. So when you find your shape, it's all about balancing, and that's what clothes are meant to do for us. They're meant to balance us. Obviously look fabulous as well, but yeah, the idea is that we choose clothes that balance us out, because you know everyone talks about the symmetry, you know, symmetry of the face, and the more symmetrical you are, the more beautiful you are according to science. So I don't know where that leaves me. I did one of those inverted camera things on TikTok, and my face seems to shift over like that if I invert my face.
I've never seen that.
So, well, don't do it. It's really upsetting. I did it with my son, and his face didn't change at all. Every time it inverted, he's got like this perfect symmetrical
really?
face.
Is he handsome?
He's a handsome boy, but I'm his mummy, so.
So you've got to say that.
But yeah, so it's all about getting that symmetry, or trying to get that symmetry. So, for example, someone who is a triangle can wear a lovely puffy sleeve, something kind of busy at the top, and light colours at the top. So what you want to do is draw attention up here, and you want to kind of slim down the bottom. So then you might wear a puff sleeve of some kind with dark jeans, or a sort of pencil skirt, or just something that's kind of darker and slim without too much going on. Because, and I think I mentioned this last week, but the eye is less drawn to black. So if there's something black, it kind of scans over that and looks for something interesting to entertain your brain. So if you're then putting the colour and the frill at the top, that's then symmetricalising your body. You know, creating symmetry in the body, rather than, you know, putting all black at the top and then making your trousers really big and colourful, and then obviously enhancing that aspect of your body. I mean,
so it enhances the body, but it also enhances the eye.
It draws the eye, and I mean, all strength and all power to women who have hips. I would kill for some hips. I would be in the most flowery, floral, frilly things you could imagine. Like, look at my hips. But you know, I totally get it that, you know, people who are a certain shape, they might not want that, you know. And I sometimes look at I'm a rectangle. I look at my rectangle and I'm like, oh, what can I do with this? But you know,
Okay.
no, as you say, we always
And yet
want what we
people might
haven't
look at
got.
you and be quite envious because of you being slim and.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, but I haven't got a curve on me. We'll get to rectangles in a minute. This is another really lovely one for the for the triangle, because it's just got that little bit of detail. It's not too much, and I mean, it's got the skirt, so we're not necessarily talking about the bottom half of these things. We're talking about the top half, but just that little bit of frill there, little collar, and it just brings that interest, you know. And like, you can have something sparkly. You can get away with sparkle at the top because you're trying to draw that eye up. So yeah, so that is your triangle. The inverted triangle is, as it sounds, the other way around. So you've got broader shoulders, probably bigger breasts, a smaller waist, kind of going down to a smaller waist, smaller bum, and probably nice slim legs. So it's then doing the reverse of what we were just saying. You know, you kind of want to show off your legs. They're the nice sort of slim bit. It says that the rule kind of goes something like a halter neck or a V-neck, because what you're wanting to do is draw the attention away from the shoulders and bring it into the body. So it's not like, if you had puff shoulders, it'd be like, whoa, look at the shoulders. Whereas, shoulders. Whereas if you've got a nice halter neck or a sports top or something like that, kind of bringing the eye in and down. And I picked up this dress for that. This one, which isn't actually, to be fair, I would be more like this way round, because I know this is back to front, but we didn't have a halter neck. But something like that kind of shape, you know, where it's the square shape, so it's more like a sporty shape. Or a V-neck. So reversible dress.
Do you know what? You could actually.
Because those low backs are really fashionable. Yeah. And when I first saw this, I thought it was that way around. I was like, oh, I love that. And then actually, I like that too. But
that's really good actually. You could wear it the other way around.
Yeah, you actually.
I mean, some of them you can. I mean, you'd have to try it, but actually, I'm gonna probably do that.
Give it a go. Yeah.
And see what I think. Because I've actually always quite liked my back.
Yeah.
Because it's sort of, there's no blemishes and stuff like that on it, so it's actually what I call an asset of mine.
Nice feature.
So I do often wear stuff that does
there you
the
go.
open at the back.
We've created something there. So that is a really nice way to enhance the inverted triangle. Or as I say, you can get the old classic V-neck, but wouldn't necessarily go for this. But it's just to use this feature.
Okay.
If it was like that.
What are you doing to my t-shirt?
Sorry, but
actually that looks
there
quite
you go.
nice.
Bringing the puff in, so you've got that nice little sporty top and then into a V, because that's bringing the eye in and down. Yeah. Okay. Or a long necklace.
Right. Okay.
And then with the bottom half, you can kind of get your frill on. You can get frills and whatever you want. The pattern. Have the upper half darker and the bottom half light. So so that's your invert. The oval or the apple. So I think in England, you know, kind of the UK, we call it the apple. I think in America, possibly they call it an oval.
Okay.
I'm not sure which sounds more insulting. So I thought I'd put them both, and people can just choose which they prefer.
I think apple sounds a bit like, well, you imagine just this.
Yeah, I know, but then like with the triangle, normally in UK we're like the pear shape, aren't we?
Yes,
I just don't understand the fruit thing. What's a banana shape? So well, let's say the orange, because that's quite fun. So we're going to go into the oval now. So
now when you say orange, I think of cellulite.
Cellulite, okay, not that one.
Pineapple's probably a bit.
Grapefruit's
probably a bit. Running out with plum.
Yes, the plum shape. We'll go with the plum. I'm going to change that in the blog.
Rename.
So with that one, you're going to have a bit more weight in the middle. So it's not necessarily weight, it's just that there's less shape. So you're sort of slimmer at the top, slimmer at the bottom, and then sort of rounder in the middle with maybe less waist. So what you want to do with that, obviously, is try and enhance a waist and create a waist. That's the general idea. Now, it's not dissimilar in that sense to the triangle, because you know to the rectangle, because you want to kind of create a shape that isn't necessarily there. And with a rectangle, there's no waist either. So something that's already got a little bit of a shape built into it. And I actually brought this one for the rectangle, but it's a really nice one, because with the frill as well, it's then bringing a little bit of hip, you know, which you don't necessarily have with the oval shape. It's more like that, and then suddenly you're kind of creating that shape. So yeah, so something like that. A really important thing for this shape is to go with an empire line, so that's the underbust, because then that just skims over the stomach area but enhances this area, which is nice. We like this area. Yeah, you don't want anything sort of too high necked or anything, so nice empire line. You can get tops as well as dresses with that, can't you? So it's a nice one to go for. Again, a little bit of a V, just to sort of bring a little bit of attention up to this part of the body. What's nice about this is that you can actually bring attention to your face, because then that's bringing that sort of, creating like a slimming sort of line from the face. So if you have like a nice hat or a scarf or something, and then into a nice necklace that comes down, so then it almost avoids the sides. You know, you're kind of drawing the eye down in a straight line rather than putting the focus on the central point. So yeah, there's quite a few different things you can do with that shape, and I think people don't necessarily realise, you know, when they've...
No, I just didn't. I mean, I suppose some things I know sometimes what works for me, but I don't necessarily know why.
Why, yeah. And the other thing with the oval is that you can really draw attention to your collarbone, which is such a lovely area and actually such a feature, because people don't really put weight on the collarbone. So actually being able to draw attention to that, you've got its bone, you know.
That's why I really like sort of the Bardo style, but the only thing is it irritates, you know, I love it because I think it looks so elegant. It doesn't matter how much weight you're carrying. I think, you know, just the shoulders, across the shoulders, that is a lovely area.
But not to look bony, but the idea of the kind of gap here and all that, that does, it emphasises a slimness. So even if you're not slim anywhere else, you're always going to have that there. You know, there's always...
Do you know, it's interesting you should say that, because what I'm thinking is, you see, that I would wear up on the shoulders. Yeah. Now, I was just going to ask you why I've always found square necks to be quite flattering, and I think it is. It's this big. Yeah. So it doesn't matter what you're carrying elsewhere. It's actually quite... It just
frames. It's like a little picture frame. It kind of frames the face, doesn't it? And then brings attention to that. Yeah, that's why. So the next one is me, the rectangle.
You say that all deflated, Laurie.
Especially because I want to be an hourglass.
And we're all sitting there going, I'd love to look like that.
No, give me an hourglass any day. I always think of the Mr. Men. I think it's Mr. Grumpy is a rectangle.
Is it so, Mr. Grumpy? I know all my Mr. Men actually, because my son used to love Mr. Does love those stories, even though he's grown up. And there's so much humour in those stories. But yes, I think you're likely right. It might be Mr.
I think it is. That's the one that my little girl's reading at the moment. So yeah, again, we're talking very similar measurements: hips, waist, shoulders, waist, hips. They're straight up and down, basically. So that's great. No, there's nothing wrong with a rectangle, obviously. There's loads of us out there. And do you know what? You're saying that about, you know, people will be thinking, I wish I could, you know, have that. We are very lucky in a way, because we can carry a lot more styles than, you know, other shapes.
Because you can make it there rather than trying to hide it.
Exactly, yeah. You can just kind of put something on. My mum's always like, everything suits you. That's why you spend so much money on clothes. I'm like, well, you made me. So we can add shape. What we want to do is add shape. So we're not trying to balance anything out, you know, like with the inverted triangle with the broader shoulders and the smaller hips, trying to balance. We're already perfectly balanced. We want to create something. So then we can get our frill on, and we can have a little bit of looseness and all this sort of fun stuff. We can get away with a lot more colours as well, so we can put prints together, colours together. No, exactly. We don't need the dark, because there's nothing that we're trying to sort of detract from. Obviously darks, I love navy and things. I'll still wear it, but you know, if we love a colour, we can pretty much put it on with anything. So that's really lovely. Adding curves, what we can do with that, and then that was that little pink floral dress that I brought. Top that I brought out. That's perfect, as I say, for the rectangle as well, because it's creating shape. So it's creating shape where there isn't any, and it's putting extra
and it's
at the top, extra on the
floral
hips.
and,
Yeah. So it kind of brings us out and then brings us in and then brings us out again, which is all we want. Well, it's all I want. So yeah, so that's, why did I bring that one? Oh, I brought this one for the oval. Was this for the oval?
Oval, what's the name?
The oval, yes, the vertical lines, the apple. Yeah, this is for the apple as well.
The apple.
A vertical, the plum. The vertical stripe, perfect if you've got the oval shape or the apple shape. If your measurements are smaller at the top, wider in the middle, smaller at the bottom, a vertical stripe, again, bringing that eye down, and a long necklace to really draw that eye down. So something like that.
That's really nice with that, actually.
Yeah. You know, I thought, I just grabbed this and I thought, oh, that's a really lovely one. And then I saw the dress and thought, oh, they look really nice together.
Yes, they do, actually, yeah.
So, if you're an oval, come and get it. Did I finish with the rectangle? I think I did. One thing to say with a rectangle and also with an inverted triangle is when we put weight on, it tends to go onto the waist. So where a rectangle might usually want to do something a bit form-fitting in the middle, if we put a bit of weight on there, and I can account for this, that's where it goes. You suddenly get a pot belly. What you don't then want to do is wear waist cinches, because suddenly that weight is going to be kind of squished in, and it's going to draw attention to the area that you've suddenly got the weight on. So if you're trying to avoid that look, avoid anything fitted, too fitted. You can still have, you know, like a nice jacket with a little bit of tailoring or something, but you know, like a sort of nipped-in dress or something. Kind of avoid that, because it's going to bring the attention into that.
And I guess maybe, well, I'm just thinking about, I suppose I'm trying to imagine this rectangle, but maybe carrying more weight.
Oh.
As in...
me with a pot belly.
Okay.
Yeah, it's basically that. So you're slim, you know,
or
not
you're bigger, but
or
actually
bigger,
your
but
belly will be...
you're all
bigger
the
than
same.
All the same.
So, you know, kind of we tend to have, like, no matter the size, our limbs tend to be sort of longer and, you know, kind of, you know, slimmer.
Right.
Even if we're a bigger size, but we tend to just have that kind of all the same measurement all the way down.
Okay.
There's no great differentiation between our shoulders and hips and our waist. You know, it's literally, the shapes are literally to do with the measurements of your shoulders, hips and waist. So, you know, that way, all the different things that you can
That
be.
sounds like a dance.
I know. It's the shape dance. Yeah, so that's what it's about. So it would literally just be sort of my body at any different height, but with just a bit more around the middle. And what I find when I have put on more weight, like when I've been a size 14. When I was a size 14, I just wasn't comfortable then with things around my waist, because actually the rest of me might have still been a 12. I mean, it was all a 14, but you know, for some people, like, you might suddenly find, oh, well, my legs are a 12 because they're slimmer usually, and now suddenly my waist's a 14, so a size 12 pair of jeans are really uncomfortable because you've suddenly got this extra sort of
Whereas
measurement.
I have the other way. If I get them to fit my hips, sometimes they're about 2 inches too big on my waist.
Yes, too wide on the waist, that's it.
But
And I mean,
if I get something to fit my waist, there's no way it's going to go over my bum and hips.
I think that's the thing, like with these shapes, and as I said at the beginning, they don't always, we don't generally change shape. We change size but not shape. But that's not always the case, because actually, like with the inverted triangle and the rectangle, we can actually change shape. Suddenly go a little bit plumb. So yeah, it is. Those are probably the main exceptions, though. Most of the others generally stay where they're at.
That's why I actually avoid trousers. I don't often wear trousers. I might wear sort of tight trousers with something over the top.
Yes.
With some elastane in them or something, and you know, that goes
your magic trousers are perfect, aren't they?
But I very rarely, you know, a pair of trousers. There's no way, because if I get them to fit here, they're not going to fit.
Then you have to. Well, I mean, you can get them tailored, can't you? I suppose if you found a pair that you loved, but if you don't, if you haven't, and you don't need it, why bother?
I just don't think it. Yeah, it's just something I
think some people prefer like trousers, don't they? And other people just don't get on with them. I have to say, I didn't have any trousers for ages, and then over winter, suddenly, increased my trouser collection by about 15 pairs of jeans. And I don't know why or how. And I was like looking through them, I was like, where have all these jeans come from?
Probably because the lockdowns and
Yeah.
stuff and just
I
not
think
being out.
I
as
just
much.
went shopping on Vinted and just bought like loads of cheap second-hand jeans, and I don't know why. I wasn't going anywhere. So the last shape is the hourglass. We're talking Jessica Rabbit here, you know, bigger on top, small waist, and your hips.
Right.
My dream. And this is the size where actually you're not trying to balance anything generally because they're already balanced. They've got the top and the bottom are very similar usually, and then that small waist. So what this one comes down to is your preference. If you prefer to show off your figure, then you want to have something like a wrap dress or a wrap top that's going to pull in and really hug your curves and enhance them. And that's what I was saying about, you know, the boobs. You can enhance them through using, you know, like a lovely V-neck and getting that wrap in.
Right.
I can't really wear wrap dresses. They just do nothing for me because there's just nothing at the bottom. There's no bavavumi bit, and there's no help from my boobs. There's just nothing for me. But it's really annoying because I love this dress so much.
It's beautiful, and it's in a beautiful blue as well.
Yeah,
It's a really
that
lovely
blue and the
electric
pink,
blue,
yeah. So something like this is just ideal for those hourglasses because it just brings the eye, you know, into that lovely tiny waist. So yeah.
So moving on from that one
I'm not
quickly, 'cause you love
sulking,
the dress.
not
so-
sulking.
Yeah, I was going to say.
But then if you prefer, so if you're an hourglass but you feel a little bit self-conscious about your curves, again, no matter what the size, you know, some people are just self-conscious because they have big breasts or, you know, they've got a big bum and they're just really aware of it. Not everyone wants to show off their curves, in which case you can still get a wrap dress, obviously you just get a slightly looser fitting, or get something that just sort of skims the curves. So
Okay.
I pulled this purely because it's still a little bit form-fitting, so you still want to go for a little bit of a form fit, ideally, but just something that's going to kind of skim rather than hug, and that's what you're then going to be looking for,
So
something
it
like
gives
that.
you shape,
Yes, yeah,
but it doesn't hug.
exactly. And I mean, if you don't want to show your curves at all, then that's absolutely fine. Go for something a bit boxier, like a loose shirt, like an oversized shirt dress. And I should have pulled one of those ones, you know, the lovely sort of shiny coral one that you've got.
Yeah.
Beautiful, oversized shirt. No one's going to be seeing anything behind that, you know, and then you're feeling comfortable and you're feeling good. Because, you know, I can only imagine having these curves and being the centre of attention whenever you walk into a room. Not angry. But no, the hourglass kind of have it made really because they look fabulous in so many things, and you know, sometimes you don't want everyone looking, do you? And you know, you want to be able to sort of go about your day, and I think a shirt's great for everyone really, an oversized shirt, because for all the shapes.
And however you want to wear it.
Yeah,
so open,
exactly.
Belted,
Because it's
whatever.
just one of those things that, you know, whatever shape you are,
It's one of the
you're
staples
having
for the
one of those
wardrobe,
things.
yeah.
Exactly, it's a
I'm
classic.
learning, you see, from
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lovely shirt dress. That's always a good one to have.
Well, thank you very much. It just reminds me, actually, just to finish off with Gemma this week. She's, we're from the same family, so genetically we've all got rather large hips and bottoms and stuff. And she said something the other day, and she said, you know what, I've spent 38 years or whatever worrying about it. She said, I'm just embracing it now.
Absolutely.
Just her mindset is just
Yeah.
totally, do you know what, this is me.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah.
And that's the thing, it kind of, knowing your shape gives you that power to take back enjoying shopping. You know, you can go into a shop and go, right, I know that's going to suit me or that's going to fit me, and you almost get the eye then of what you need to go for, and it just brings that power back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's lots of education, isn't there, in fashion, you know, and I just think all I've known in the past is, yes, that does look right on me, I know that doesn't, I'm going to
I
stay
don't
clear
know
of that,
why.
but I don't know
Yeah.
why, and actually understanding it does make
And it's so
sense.
size focused, isn't it, as
Yeah,
well, I think,
yeah.
our sort of culture of fashion. So it's so lovely, I think, this kind of thing, and the blog will be up, I think, Saturday, isn't it? It's going to be a good read for anyone who's thinking, I don't know what to wear, what shape am I?
Because everybody's coming out shopping.
Yeah,
so, so
figure out your
it's
shape and come
yeah.
to Ruby Lala. But the thing is, then it also makes online shopping easier because you can just look for things.
And
you know.
it's going to pretty much suit
exactly.
you, yeah. Well, thank you very much, Charlotte. That's really, really informative.
Sure.
I really enjoyed that one. So thank you very much. And we will see you next week. Thank you.